Okay, hello again. This is now the tarot lesson number 11. And I don't know about this one, only because if you think that in traditional decks, in older decks, the strength card was number 11 and justice was number 8. But it's 80 weight switched it around. So I tend to go with the older combination of cards and numbers. So if you think about the strength card, this video may be, I don't know, a little bit all over the place, or kind of different from a sort of conventional video. I'm rambling at the moment, but I've got a couple of things to say. So this is mainly about should you charge for a reading or not? Because I mentioned before about get paid something. And a few people asked for more information about that kind of idea. So I wrote down a few things. So when I said in the video, you should charge for readings or make sure you get paid. The other thing that I didn't mention in that last video was if the questioner doesn't like the answer, you don't give them the money back. This is what I was taught. I had a really good teacher. She used to drive me up the wall periodically because she was so demanding and I wanted to be left alone, but she just wouldn't do it, which was good for me in the long run. So I had a really good teacher. So she told me, charge for readings and don't give the money back. And I was a good student, so I said, okay. There are reasons that she had for telling me that, and I'll get to that in a bit. Mainly there's karma in life. You know, you do certain things, you make certain decisions, and certain things happen because of that decision. And so if we're having a chat somewhere, and you tell me about your situation, and I give you a suggestion, and you follow that suggestion, that's okay because it was between friends. But if you introduce the tarot, which is a formal thing, and I'll get to that in a minute, it changes things. And if there's an exchange of money before the reading, then it's business. And so my interpretation of a card that causes you to act in a different kind of a way and therefore attract or experience different karma that you may or may not enjoy. That came about because I used a card to give you information. It wasn't just coming from me as a person. I was using a card. And so if you've given me some money first, then it's business. And so it's protection for me, the reader, or for you, the reader, and it's also protection for the questioner, because then your karma and your lessons that you have to learn or you're meant to learn, and the questioner's lessons don't get all mixed up and get messy. And that's the reason for payment. But let me get to that. So the first thing I wrote down is, what did you think? When I said you should get paid, what did you think? Because I didn't, you may have thought, $1,000 for a reading. I meant a coin. So if you're worth $10, charge $10. But people have got this weird idea about money. As somebody once said to me, money's made round to go round. Right? Coins are round. So it's made round to go round. So it's only money. It's not, you're not breaking some sacred rule that if somebody gives you 25 cents or a 20 pence piece, that in order to do a tarot reading that you are in some way breaking cosmic law. You're not. But when I said you should charge for readings, if you immediately thought, no, I can't do that, how much were you thinking about? Because all I meant was a little bit of money changing hands. And it's cash, not something you can't spend. So it may be, if you had an emotional reaction to me saying charge and you immediately thought, no, you can't do that, think about your own reaction, because if how was your reaction changed when you know that all I meant was 25 cents or small, something you would see lying in the street and you wouldn't bother to bend down and pick it up? A tiny amount of money, but it's money nevertheless. So I wrote down, I've got a couple of things that I'd like to show you. So we know that people know about astrology, or think they know about astrology. And we know there are 12 signs in the zodiac. So what are you dealing with astrology? There's a fellow called Vivian Robson wrote a book, and he said at one point in one of his books, the fifth house in a horoscope would furnish any details you might require about a dog or a cat owned by the daughter of a cleaning lady employed by your husband or wife's sister-in-law. So if you have a sister-in-law who has a cleaning lady, who has a daughter who has a cat, then you look to the fifth house, and that will give you information about the cat. And the example he gives is it was a Saturn in Aquarius in the fifth house. It would be a black cat because Saturn was black, and it would walk with a limp because it's in Aquarius. So the thing is, that's a ridiculous example, but it works. Which makes me wonder, and maybe it will make you wonder, what's really going on with astrology? You know, if it can give, there's nothing that a horoscope can't tell you in the hands of somebody who knows how to read it. So what's going on with astrology? What really is astrology? And I wrote down the numbers 1 to 12, because 1 and 2 is 3, and 3 is 6, and 4 is 10, and 5 is 15, and 6 is 21, and 7 is 28, and 8 is 36, and 9 is 45, and 10 is 55, and 11 is 66, and 12 is 78. Where have we seen that number before? The number of cards in a tarot deck equals, or is the same as, or is equally powerful as all astrology, which can give you details about cats owned by daughters of char ladies. So it sort of makes you wonder, what are we dealing with the tarot? You know, it's maybe got depth or width or power or something that you don't really imagine that it's got, or you've never realized that it had. Another thing I'd like to show you, you know the I Ching, the Book of Changes, right, which begins with a divided and an undivided line. And then you go this way, you've got that over that, and you've got that over that. And here you've got that over that, and that. Okay, so you're taking the 2 and you're making it into 4. And then you go to this, you get a trigram. And then you've got this, and so you're going to have the undivided line making its way up. Okay, so you've got that, and you can do the same with this side. So you've got 2, you've got 4, and then you've got 8, and then you've got hexagrams, which are, it's like this over this trigram over this trigram is a hexagram. So you get that. I should start at the bottom and work my way up, but that's a hexagram, and there are 64 of these, right? 64 hexagrams plus 8 plus 4 plus 2. 64, 70. 64, 72, 76, 78. What's going on? We've got 78 cards in a tarot deck, and we've got 78 factors in the I Ching. And the I Ching is 5,000 years old, totally accurate in its own way, and will give you hidden information that you wouldn't imagine. So it makes me wonder, what are we dealing with the tarot? So a while ago, or a few videos ago, I wrote this. Tarot is 18, right? And 18 is the moon card. So when you're doing a tarot reading, you have to be careful as well, because it's the moon, and the moon can represent treachery and deception on the part of other people. Right? So the tarot, yes, it's friendly and loving and kind and so on, but there can also be a dangerous or a hidden or an unsavory connection with it. And some people use tarot cards to bamboozle other people and to con them out of money or whatever it happens to be. So the tarot itself is, we have to be careful as well. And then the tarot, 32. So we've got the Empress and we've got the High Priestess. So we've got the Empress. So this is the conversational part of it, where people tell you what's going on and you give them suggestions about what to do or how to handle it and so on. And it's friendly and sociable, and it brings balance and harmony into the life of the questioner. But there's also the High Priestess side of it. It's secret and it's deep and it's meaningful and it's private and it's got depths and it's got hidden significance or signification. And that's what we're dealing with as well with the tarot. So if we're sitting in a kitchen somewhere talking about this and that, you tell me what's going on in your life and I tell you what's going on in mine, and we exchange ideas or so on. That's the Empress part of it. But maybe we get into the underlying reasons why somebody's behaving that way. The people sometimes talk about there's a subtext. So somebody says something, but what they mean is something else. There was something else that was going on that they weren't aware of, but they acted it out anyway. So with the tarot, you're dealing with sociability, but you're also dealing with underlying truth. And so if there's an exchange of money, then it's business. And the thing is, if we're sitting in a kitchen talking about this and that, I have no expectation that you're going to solve my problem or that you're going to give me anything of value. But if you bring out tarot cards, that changes the atmosphere. And so if you bring out tarot cards, I expect you're going to give me an answer. And I expect you're going to give me the true answer or the correct answer, or tell me something valuable or useful. And you, as the reader, ought to be thinking, I too will give you something of value, something that's useful for you. And so if there's an exchange of money, it changes things. So if there's no exchange of money and you bring out tarot cards and use them, then it's a different atmosphere, but you haven't recognized that it's a different atmosphere. Your awareness is still the same as it was before you brought out the cards. If you hand over cash, it changes the atmosphere, and it makes you and the questioner more aware of what you're actually doing, that the situation has changed, because we're no longer just chatting, the Empress. Now we're maybe going to get at the truth. We're going to get at the underlying reasons for things, and we're going to learn, or we're going to do something that maybe we hadn't thought of before, something that's private, something that's secret. The other thing I was going to look at was the fact that 2 and 3 equal 5. And so, as I mentioned before, we've got the Hierophant, which is number 5. But it's interesting if you take a look at the Tower, because what have we got with the Hierophant? We've got the 2 pillars here, and in the Moon card, we've got the 2 pillars here. And here, we've got the dog and the wolf. And here we've got the 2 people, the 2 students down below. And it's as if with the Moon, if we put the Moon here, that's what 3 and 2 equal. Or what tarot is, right? So it's as if we've got the 2 pillars and the 2 people, and we've got the crayfish. So the crayfish can represent instinct or unthinking responses and unthinking reactions. But in a way, through the tarot, we can go from being the crayfish that is self-protective and only knows attack and defense. And so the crayfish goes onto the land, goes between the columns, between the two people, and goes up this way between the two people down here and turns into the Hierophant, who is the knowledgeable, experienced expert who knows lots. So it's a journey in a way from instinct, primitive, primeval instinct trapped in the emotions, to logic and reason and being able to see the big picture. And maybe that's what a tarot reading is about. And so, are you going to do it for nothing? And you okay, so my last point, I think, is try it. The next time you do a reading for somebody, get them to give you a coin and try it and see how it goes. If you like it, and it is going to change how you look at doing a reading. And it's also going to change how the questioner sees the reading. So try it once. If you like it and enjoy it, then you've learned something, and do it again. If you don't like it, you know you don't like it, but until you actually try it, you don't know. But now you know, you're more aware of whatever it happens to be. So I'm suggesting that you try it once and see what you get out of it and how it changes. And as I say, if you like it, keep doing it. If you don't like it, at least you know. So the other thing is, you could do this, right? Okay, what happens if I charge? What happens if I don't charge? And then you can turn the card for yourself to see. What happens if you charge? Oh, you become an expert, and you become knowledgeable, and you're able to give good value of money, good return on the person's 25-cent investment. And that's you, the reader, above. And that's the person or the people asking you questions. And you've got your book that you consult, the tarot, and the people benefit from what you've told them. If you don't charge, the Ace of Cups reversed. You can't give love, or you can't get the person to begin a new phase of their life that is emotionally satisfying, because it's an ace, but it's cups, but it's upside down. So anyway, that's what I thought for today. So today is, I forget, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll see you again on Sunday with number 12. And so is 12 going to relate to the Hanged Man in some way? Only because if we continue because number 8 was a workbook, and 8 is justice and the Saturn influence. Anyway, thank you for watching. For those of you who bought the book, thank you very much. It helps make an awful lot possible. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on Sunday. Okay.